because if you haven't already got some ideas of what to do this bank holiday weekend, there's a rather exciting production hitting the stage on Saturday.
Yes, the Cromer and Sheringham Operatic and Dramatic Society are bringing the uplifting musical Triumph Made in Dagenham to the region, and some of the team behind the show join us now.
Hello.
Chrissy, first of all, I want to say hello to you, and it's nice to be reunited with you because we actually did a production together many years ago where you were my mother.
I was, yes.
Interesting. Yes. What was the production?
The King and I. Yeah, getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
We could do it again.
Yeah, yes. Made in Dagenham. So this is a fantastic production, but a lot of people won't know what it's about. So give us a synopsis of the musical.
I'll get Robin, the director, to do that.
Basically, it's based on a real story, and it's an adaptation of the film of the same name, Made in Dagenham. It's a story of Ford factory workers, the women who worked in the Ford factory in Dagenham in 1968, and basically their campaign for equal pay because they realised that they weren't being paid an appropriate rate in comparison to the men. They were skilled workers, men were skilled workers, but they were on a different rate, they were on a lower rate. So it was their campaign and their strike which in turn brought about the Equal Pay Act of 1970, which set in train other improvements to employment law and working conditions. That means that we have a much more equal and fair system today.
Indeed. It was wonderful, wonderful things that they did, and very brave women, actually. And what's the part you're playing in this, Chrissy?
I'm playing Barbara Castle.
Who was a great help.
Yes, she was. She was very supportive, as much as she could be.
Yeah.
Very difficult in those days because, as it comes out in the show, without the support of the TUC and the men, then even Barbara was struggling to actually, push anything forward for the women.
But she managed it.
Yeah, she managed it, but, with the women's help as well. They had to go to the TUC and actually stand up to them and say, we've stood behind you, it's your turn to stand behind us.
It's incredibly brave. And it's not, it's not the environment that we know and we appreciate today, where we do have this desire, this pursuit of equality. Whether we got there or not, who knows?
Well, yes.
That's subjective and debatable. But at that point in our history, in our social history, this was incredibly brave of these women.
It was brave, yes.
It was. And the husbands, of course, you play the husband of Rita, who is the sort of lead woman in it. Trying to think of another word, but anyway. And I think it was fair to say that the husbands were pretty anti, weren't they, at the time?
I think when the women first go on strike, they were really pro. They were like, yeah, let's do it, we support you. But then they kind of saw the repercussions of the lack of money. The women didn't just strike at work, they striked at home as well. So they then saw that they were having to look after their children, they were having to wash and cook for themselves, and most of the men had never experienced that, so then they were like, we can't cook. And it's my favourite line in the whole show is when Rita comes back and sees me and the kids, and she asks us what we cook for tea, and we say chips on toast. And that was one of the things that Eddie is completely serious about, and he doesn't know much else to cook rather than those two items.
The children probably loved that.
Yeah, sounds quite nice. What about the music behind this? Because it was a fantastic film, and now it's been turned into a musical. But sometimes when you have these musicals that feel a bit cobbled together, then the quality in the writing isn't quite there. But I understand there's some great music in this.
There's a great pedigree in the writers, and actually the person who helped write the book, the story for the show, and the lyrics is Richard Bean, and people might know his play One Man, Two Governors, which was absolute sensation with James Corden in it. And hilarious. There's some very funny moments in the show, and some very uplifting bits. The music is almost rocky in places. We've got electric guitars in the band, we've got drums, we've got percussion. It's very bouncy, but then there's some very poignant moments in it as well, and almost choral moments with 20 plus women all singing beautifully.
Well, let's look at where Kerry's sitting there patiently listening to us all, just in the last minute. You are one of the protesters, one of the women who come out on strike. And we were having a little chat earlier, and you think that actually doing this play and seeing what they went through has made a difference, perhaps how you felt about them?
It has made a difference, and the women in the chorus do talk about the fact that we don't realise just what a situation the women in our own positions were actually in back in those days. A lot of us are not of the age to have been around in that time, and it's actually really interesting for us to see just how downtrodden these women were.
Absolutely.
And how brave it was for them to go back on
and
top.
How hopefully we've moved
some
on.
moments really give you goosebumps.
Well, we've run out of time. Who would just like to tell us where it's on, when it's on, and what else do I need to ask? That'll do. Right, where's it on?
We're on Cromer Pier in the lovely Pavilion Theatre. We start this Saturday, the 27th of May, and we run all the way through next week until Saturday, the 3rd of May. We've got 3 matinees, Sunday, Monday and Saturday, and you get tickets from Cromer Pier box office, which is cromerpier.com, I believe.
Excellent. Well done, and I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.